tonight, Australia's latest push in the Pacific, the big dollar investment in electricity for Papua New Guinea. A 4-year-old boy rushed to hospital and a neighbour's pet impounded after a dog attack. The US president tours fire-ravaged California as the number of people reported missing surges. And the former mental asylum off the Central Coast set to become a tourist destination.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. The Prime Minister today attempted to push on with his Pacific charm offensive in Papua New Guinea and play down escalating tensions between the US and China. But with the President of China and the US Vice President very publicly feuding at the APEC summit, it was hard for Scott Morrison to deny Australia is caught in the crossfire.
Pacific leaders dressed to impress. But the lasting image from this year's APEC photo is a regional family split. The summit is aimed at cooperation, but the divide is evident. President Xi Jinping of China and US Vice President Mike Pence shared a glance, but it's China at one end and the US at the other. Prime Minister Scott Morrison in the middle, trying to play down the feud.
This is what we do. We're friends. We're family. We support our friends and family so they can participate.
But Australia's joining forces with the US for a former naval base on Manus Island. Strategically important as the US looks to counter China's expansion of military operations in the South China Sea. Prime Minister Morrison spoke with President Xi last night, but says the defence announcement was not discussed. Publicly, Scott Morrison's still walking the line between a key ally and a trading partner.
It is not beyond our wits and ability and interest to be able to draw both of these relationships together and work constructively with both.
And in another sign the political climate in this region is highly charged, Australia will help boost Papua New Guinea's electricity supply, teaming up with some of our allies.
Unlike many of our friends in the APEC community, Papua New Guineans continue to live in the dark.
Japan, the US and New Zealand joining Australia to increase supply from 13% of the population to 70% in a move seen as countering China's investment in the region.
America and our businesses are investing in this region as never before.
Tonight, Australia will be investing in hopes of stronger relationships, trying to woo Pacific Island nations in the way only an Australian Prime Minister can.
It's a family barbecue. That's what it is. It's a Pacific family barbecue.
But a family wary of distant relatives, fighting for control.
Playtime on a quiet street in Western Sydney has ended in a savage attack, a dog mauling a 5-year-old boy. Nearby residents ran outside after hearing screams, the vicious animal then turning on the child's mother as she tried to intervene.
With its tail between its legs, an obviously scared dog is led by its owner into the hands of authorities. Snarling and trying to shake itself free from the catch pole, the woman recoils, struggling to hold on to the hyped-up animal. Just after 1 p.m, twin 4-year-old brothers playing 2 doors up from their Jocelyn Boulevard home were set upon. The 5-year-old American bulldog breaking free, latching on to one of the children.
I was just outside the house and I just heard this girl screaming.
Running to the rescue, the boy's mother intervening to restrain the dog when it turned on her.
Initially I thought maybe they were just playing with the dog, but then I realized the dog was actually biting the lady and they were just trying to push it out.
Trying to calm the animal, the dog's owner, who suffered a cut to her arm.
The dog's owner and the mother of the child have sustained injuries as well during the altercation with the dog.
Yeah, I think they both, with them intervening, they've saved the boy's life.
Suffering a wound to his neck, the 4-year-old boy was brought here to the Children's Hospital at Westmead, while his mother was treated at the hospital next door. Both had their wounds cleaned out and had to be given a tetanus injection. Neighbours say it's not the first time they've contacted council about the American bulldog.
I've got 4 kids and this is the only way out of the street, and I'm petrified to, every time I take them to the park, they have to be very quiet whenever we walk past the house. It was an accident waiting to happen.
Donald Trump has been touring fire-ravaged communities in California to see for himself the death and destruction caused by the monster wildfires. With more than 70 people dead and 1,000 still missing, the president put aside last week's war of words over the cause of the fires before forgetting the name of the town he was visiting.
Stepping into a hell known as paradise.
This is very sad to see. As far as the lives are concerned, nobody knows quite yet.
71 people have been confirmed killed in the fires. Authorities say more than 1,000 have been reported missing. Their names now plastered on posters in nearby towns.
Literally hundreds that they're looking for. And hopefully that's going to be a good conclusion instead of a bad conclusion. Maybe they left and maybe they're with their loved ones.
The president touring devastated areas and meeting with first responders just a week after he threatened to withdraw federal funding for the state over the fires. Today, a different tone before takeoff, tweeting, "We are with you all the way."
The balloon was the very first day when we experienced the most significant damage, obviously, of almost 55,000 acres within the first 12 hours.
7 years of drought fueled the flames.
Does the devastation have changed your opinion at all on climate change, Mr. President?
No. I have a strong opinion on what great climate. We're going to have that, and we're going to have forests that are very safe.
Right now, throughout California, homes like this serve as a reminder not only of the devastation of the last week, but of the months and the years of work that lie ahead.
You don't see what's going on until you come here. And what we saw at Pleasure, what a name right now. But what we just saw, we just left Pleasure. Paradise. And what we just saw at Paradise is just, it's just not acceptable.
Rain is forecast next week, a relief for fire crews, but flooding and landslides now a threat. In California, Charles Croucher, NBN News.
A notorious Western Sydney family is at the centre of fresh drama tonight after a calculated shooting at a Panania home. The son of a man dubbed the Black Magic Rapist is recovering in Liverpool Hospital as police investigate what sparked the attack. Gunned down on his own doorstep by a Saturday night cold caller on a mission. Police say Charlie Glossian was the victim of a targeted attack.
I just heard some people screaming, then I heard what I thought was just a door slam, and then the next minute the police turned up.
The shooter struck around 8:45 last night in front of the victim's shattered wife.
The police were everywhere, there were ambulance everywhere, lights were flashing, lights were everywhere.
The 35-year-old has made headlines before, he and his two brothers launching a savage attack of their own on a police officer in 2011. The trio lost control inside the Downing Centre at a hearing for their father, Tony Glossian. He was dubbed the Black Magic Rapist for sexually assaulting two women while posing as a fake Greek priest. When police heard just who had been targeted here, it might have felt like deja vu. A Glossian family home was also shot at in 2012. A bullet was fired into the front door of the father's house in Dulwich Hill. Charlie Glossian has had surgery on his leg but hasn't spoken to police. Neighbours can't understand why he was shot.
Oh, very helpful to me, and no, I couldn't fault them.
Tonight, the hunt is on for the calculated shooter who carried out this attack. Residents in a Mayfield street woke to an unpleasant and costly surprise this morning. In an overnight act of vandalism, several car tyres were slashed in yet another attack.
It's the frustrating problem leaving residents more than a little flat.
We're all living fear that we come out in the morning and find a vehicle with flat tyres.
And this morning, that was the situation many on Margaret Street found themselves in. A Sunday shock, tyre after tyre slashed.
That's deliberate, definitely deliberate, definitely.
Our cameras filmed at least 6 vandalised cars outside just as many houses. One even had 2 tyres slashed. For some residents, it's all too familiar.
There is the mark on the tyre where it was punctured.
Several weeks ago, more than a dozen vehicles suffered the same fate.
There was about 15 cars affected from Ingle Street down into Margaret Street, and all the way down the street people had flat tyres.
While it's not only costly, it's also potentially dangerous.
It's a poor act. It's in bad taste. You know, we got people need their vehicles to go to work and so forth.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Hundreds of people came together at Lake Macquarie today to say no to domestic violence. Hosted by New South Wales Police, the Family Fun Day at Spears Point Park aimed to put an end to all violence against women and children. All money raised went to anti-domestic violence charity Survivors Are Us. The Australian Reptile Park is on the hunt for more male funnel web spiders for its anti-venom program. And what you're about to see is not for the faint-hearted.
This is the season when funnel web spiders come out of hiding. But finding these deadly arachnids isn't as easy as you might think. Catching and securing one is a delicate process, and once the lid's on, they're taken away to be inducted into the Australian Reptile Park's breeding and milking program.
Since antivenom's been out since 1980, no one has died of a funnel web. So there's hundreds of people that would get bitten a year. There'd be a number less than that receive the antivenom. But we're actually getting more and more requests from the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories to provide more funnel web venom, so we need more spiders.
Male funnel web spiders are particularly precious. Their venom is 6 times more toxic than their female counterparts.
They're the ones that will require the antivenom in the bite. The male is the one that you're more likely to come across, generally at home, as they wander searching for the females. They can come in under doorways, fall into swimming pools or dog water bowls.
The Wildlife Sanctuary receives hundreds of calls a week, mostly from people mistaking the work of a trapdoor spider for funnel webs.
A funnel web burrow is very distinct as it has a lot of white webbing around the mouth. It's very thick white webbing. A trapdoor hole generally is just a 5 to 10 cent piece circle in the ground. There's a bit of silk in the burrow, but not a lot around the mouth.
Funnel web season continues through until March, so best advice is to keep an eye out.
Things that have a large surface area on the ground insulate the ground very well, so sheets of tin, tarps, old carpet, we find lots of funnel webs. If you are gardening, always wear gloves. They have very, very long fangs, longer than a lot of the venomous snakes in Australia, so do wear thick, heavy-duty gardening gloves.
Sky Hull, NBN News.
Later in the bulletin, your local weather details for the week ahead, and still to come, are tech-obsessed parents tuning out their children. Plus, later in sport, the Newcastle Jets goal that lit up the W League.
There are 2 ways to make a mattress. The cheap way, 1 piece, single-sided, with attached pillow top made out of foam. Yes, Mr. Harvey, they should be 50% off. The best way, 2 piece, double-sided, removable pillow top with thousands of microcoils and a 5-year comfort promise. Sorry, Mr. Harvey, we make them, you don't. The Bellissimo Duo 4000.
Making mattresses. Nobody makes a better mattress. Nobody.
Bet Easy makes it easy to raise your game. Bet Easy has more features,